Then you had a setting on June 6th and you are no-show.
Your Honor,
So
if
that's,
I may talk real quick on that.
I mean, we are here where we are from your actions. Mr. Manning, the court's going to deny your application, find you guilty, sentence you to 6 years in prison, give you credit for any time served because you waived your right to appeal. You do not have the court's, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Phone's not work. Does she have access to a phone?
I believe she does, Your Honor.
Why didn't she pick up the phone and call probation and say, hey, may I depart Bear County to go? Okay, why are you not reporting?
Well, on when I got arrested, I received a text and then I got a warrant and then I went to go talk because they told me I needed to get an attorney.
We have some new information on a stabbing late last night on the city's northwest side. 48-year-old Rose Padilla facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after police say that she stabbed her boyfriend with an 8-inch kitchen knife. It happened last night in the 200 block of Green Lawn just before 10:30. The boyfriend taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Padilla was arrested right at the scene.
Hello. How are you doing this morning? You're whispering. All right. So the reason why you need to be extended is because you have restitution that you need to pay. And I understand that there are issues for you, that you have other bills to pay. But in the big scheme of things, you're on a criminal probation and there's restitution that's related to the criminal act that you committed. So that those people need to be paid. So I understand you're behind on your mortgage, your electricity and your water, but people have to be paid. You understand? Do you have children?
Yes, they're already older.
All right. So I don't know if it's possible for you, but you may need to get a second job because you have to pay this restitution. And you were on probation for 5 years and extended for 3 years. I can extend you up to 2 years. Do you understand?
Yes.
So probation is going to go over with you and try to get an idea of how much you can pay per month. So you need to be thinking about how much money you can pay per month. And you're going to have to start paying that per month because restitution needs to be paid. You understand?
Yes.
Probation, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, it looks like she's been in compliance with everything else. She's done all of the programs that you've set forth and everything. It's just the restitution.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming down. Have you all conferred with probation?
We have, Your Honor. Yeah.
Okay. Are you all ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, court is calling 2015 CR 3473, State of Texas versus Rose Padilla. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Sorry.
All right, for the
We'd like to
state?
work together, Your Honor. This would be Zach Dunn for the state.
Shannon Locke for Rose Padilla.
All right, and are you Rose Padilla?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Rose Padilla who's placed on deferred adjudication? And cause number 2015 CR 3473 for the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on September 9th, 2015 for a period of 5 years and extended for a total of 4. Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Your Honor, on or about the 30th day of September 2023 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant, Rose Padilla, departed Bear County without the written permission of the court and or the supervision officer in violation of condition number 7.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Yes. True.
State.
Your Honor, the state waives and abandons the other condition.
Any objections to the waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 7, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Okay, I'm gonna need you to speak up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 7 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor.
And what are you all proposing that the court follow?
The proposal, Your Honor, was to continue on probation, extend for 1 year, and amend for probationer to pay at least $100 every 2 weeks for restitution.
Your Honor, the original recommendation was for revocation. However, it does indicate that if the court wishes to continue to extend the 1 year, amend the probationer to pay at least $100 every 2 weeks for restitution.
How much is owed on restitution?
Your Honor, $78,775.98.
How much has she paid on restitution since she's been on since 2015?
$2,360.
Your Honor, Ms. Padilla is a waitress. She used to be a waitress at Christian's on San Pedro. She works a lot, constantly. And she is frankly incapable of making any other payments aside from the ones that are recommended, for the $100 every 2 weeks.
All right, why is she leaving the county without permission?
So she was, there's a healing mass that occurs in Hidalgo County on the last Saturday of every month. That's where she went. She felt called to go there. It's something that she's had a significant benefit from in the past, and so she'd heard about this mass and decided to attend that mass with her significant other.
All right, do phones not work? Does she have access to a phone?
I believe she does, Your Honor.
Why didn't she pick up the phone and call probation and say, hey, may I depart Bexar County to go for this? Because honestly, she hasn't been doing well on probation. I mean, that's why we're here. Probation is telling me they want a revocation. And in this court, normally it takes some doing for me to grant a revocation. So for probation to be asking for revocation when they know that normally if there is monetary issue, if there is a drug issue, usually I try to address those before we head down the road of revocation. So for them to be asking for revocation, that says something. So why didn't you pick up the phone and call probation and ask them if you could leave Bexar County to go to this event? You want to raise your right hand for me? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Rose Padilla.
All right, why didn't you call probation?
It wasn't a Saturday and I thought, nothing was gonna happen. Just me going and coming back.
You cannot leave Bexar County without permission while you're on probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, they want you to pay $100. What did you say? Every 2 weeks or how often? Every 2 weeks?
Yes, Judge.
Are you able to pay this $100 every 2 weeks, or you're just saying that?
No.
Because let me just tell you why I'm asking that question. I find that when people are looking at potentially going to prison for 20 years, if people say, all right, we will agree to continue. If you pay $500 a week, you know what people will say? Well, I'm going to call this person and I'll pay $500 a week. So I want to know, can you really pay $100 every 2 weeks? Or are you just saying this because that's the agreement you all reached? Or will you be able to pay it? If you're not going to be able to pay it, you need to let me know now, because if I follow this agreement and I get a report that you miss one of the weeks in paying, we don't have problems. So if you cannot really pay $100 every 2 weeks, you need to let the court know now.
Now I'm trying to get back on my feet and I think, but if I have a problem or something, like I have health issues, can I call and let y'all know that,
No, see, here's the thing. Your agreement that you all have made, regardless of what health issues you have, is that you're going to pay $100 every 2 weeks, because there's somebody out there, and I'm not the one who took this plea because this was before my time, but there's somebody out there that you owe $78,000 to. So you agreed, and your attorney agreed, that you are paying $100 every 2 weeks. So there is no, well, maybe something may come up. You've agreed that you would pay $100 every 2 weeks. That's why I'm asking this. If you are telling the court, actually, I'm not going to be able to pay $100 every 2 weeks, I was saying that, hoping that I would be able to do it because this is the only way where maybe the state would agree not to revoke. I don't know. I'm not a part of your negotiations. But if that's the fact, you probably need to step back and talk to your attorney and you all actually come up with a reasonable amount that you are going to be paying, no questions asked. And it should be amount that you should pay, not depending on this person giving you money or that person giving you money, because we're going to be right back here because they're going to file a motion to revoke if you miss any of those payments. So do y'all want to step back and discuss that, or y'all want to continue with she's going to be able to pay $100 every 2 weeks?
$100 every 2 weeks.
All right. So you're saying, and you're telling the court, you're telling probation that you're going to pay $100 every 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
And when is this going to start?
And it started in 2 weeks, Your Honor.
When's her next pay period?
When's your next page?
Maybe next paycheck. I get paid every Wednesday.
All right. So this is her first payment, then is going to be, since you get paid Wednesday, is that electronic deposit maybe or no? All right. So her first payment, she's going to be making payments on December 7th. That should be her first payment of beginning every 2 weeks. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And since she gets paid on Wednesday, her payments should be falling on that Thursday because she has to get the check, go cash the check, and do all of that. All right, I'll deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include $100 payment every 2 weeks, beginning on December 7th. And that's to go towards restitution. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Probation, is there anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Her case expired September of this year, so that 1 year extension, are you going to move forward with that?
Yes, extend for 1 year.
I would also like to bring up to the court that we have notification that Ms. Padilla has not reported since September. So I would ask that the court admonish her and ask her, tell her to report as necessary.
Okay, why are you not reporting?
Well, on when I got arrested, I received a text and then I got a warrant and then I went to go talk because they told me I needed to get an attorney or for my bond. So when I went go talk to him, and then I have the text where my probation officer text me that I had an appointment yesterday, which I went in yesterday, and she even sent me for a UA for tomorrow. And I go, why wait for tomorrow? So I went yesterday to go get a UA too.
All right, here's the thing. Don't miss reporting. You understand?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm assuming you're required to report monthly. When do you want her to show up to report?
I'll look at the appointment book to see if it's already been put on the books for next
All right,
month.
so she's going to give you a date when you to report, and you need to report. Don't miss any reporting dates. Here's the thing. Sometimes miscommunications happen. I've already said that I'm going to continue you. So there's no need for us to go back and forth. As my grandmother would say, who shot John? Here's the thing. She is going to give you a date for when you report. You need to make sure you report on that date. Even if you're saying you've already reported, if she gives you a different date, you need to go report on that day. If you do not, what will end up happening is a motion to revoke will be filed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then I saw in the motion to revoke this new number 1 that nobody's going on. What is happening with that?
So, Your Honor, one that is out of county. The investigation that I've done, I don't believe it was more serious than a Class C misdemeanor. So I don't expect anything to come up. We'll certainly keep an eye on.
All right. And is there any issue with her and UA?
Your Honor, in August, it says it was failure to submit. In September, it was a negative. I don't have anything past September because there was that lapse in reporting. So if she said she UA'd yesterday, those results will not be available until next week.
All right. Did you UA yesterday?
I went yesterday, yes.
All right, make sure she UA yesterday. If she did not UA yesterday, then we're gonna have a problem because people are being dishonest with the court. So if you UA yesterday, she's gonna check it. And then from thereafter, do random UAs.
Yes, Judge.
All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is there anything you need from the court to be successful on this probation? All right, do not leave Bear County without permission. Because you're on probation, everything you do, you need to pick up the phone and call probation and request it.
Okay,
Could you waive the UA fees, Your Honor? Is that possible?
No. Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
all right, thank you. Oh, did y'all complete the certification of defendant's rights?
I'm doing it right now, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, the court is calling 2015 CR 3473 State versus Rose Padilla. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state, for the defense?
Robert Valdez for the defense.
And are you Miss Padilla? You need to, okay, everybody is whispering. Why is everybody whispering? You need to speak up so the court can hear.
yes,
All right, did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Rose Padilla who's placed on deferred adjudication for the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on September 9, 2015 for a period of 5 years and extended for a total of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Judge, if I could have just some.
You need to-
Violation of condition number 10 in Bear County, Texas. Between the date the defendant Rose Padilla was placed on community supervision and the date of filing hereof for restitution, the defendant should have remitted $81,135.98, but has only remitted $2,504 in violation of condition number 10.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
Violation of condition number 21, on or about the 17th day of June 2025 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Rose Padilla did then and there fail to complete GED as instructed by the court in violation of condition number 21.
How do you plead to that?
Not true.
And violation of condition number 23 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Rose Padilla did then and there fail to make payments of $100 every 2 weeks in violation of condition number 23.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
All right. Will you all be ready to proceed on a contested hearing the second or third week in January?
Judge, you said the second week of June.
Second or third week?
Yes, that's.
All right. Oh, we can bring it. No, I'll do it. It's fine. All right, what date?
It would be the 12th.
But it is a simple case. Okay, we'll just do it on the 12th. Unless somebody wants to do it now and have the probation officer zoom in.
Judge, I the officer.
All right, we can do the contested hearing now. They'll have an officer zoom in. Everybody just have a seat. Are you Rose Padilla? All right. My understanding is that you wish to change your plea to true on one of the allegations. You need to speak up. All right, state if you'll read the allegation.
Yes, Your Honor, apologize for 1 moment. Violation of condition number 23 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant Rose Padilla did then and there fail to make payments of $100 every 2 weeks in violation of condition number 23.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 23, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 20 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 23? Court will find violation of condition number 23 true. What is the state requesting?
Your Honor, along with probation's recommendation, the state is requesting that the court grant the motion to enter adjudication of guilt, revoke the defendant, and place her on probation or community supervision for 10 years.
Well, no, is this an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? Or is this, I
Not-
think this is aggravated assault with a
Let
deadly
me
weapon.
check and see what
So-
it led to. I apologize. Can we step back for a moment?
Sure, so what I, yeah. All right, before we go into record state, are you ready to proceed on this motion for a bond reduction?
I am now, Judge.
All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 11393, State of Texas versus Thomas Manning. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Marcus Sanders.
for the defense?
Charles Mays for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Manning?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Manning, do you have any objections to this hearing taking place by video?
No, ma'am.
The defense has filed a motion seeking bond reduction. State, have you ever had a chance to review the defense's motion?
Yes, Judge.
Are you ready to proceed, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, defense, it's your motion. You may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this time, we would ask the court to take into consideration. This is a serious offense. We're not denying that, Judge. And also there's a $75,000 bond on this offense, Judge, which is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And Judge, we're asking that the court reduce the bond. Mr. Manning has been incarcerated for some time now. I think it's been over 3 months, if I'm correct, Your Honor. And,
It's been 6 months.
okay. Thank
Excuse
you.
me, Mr. Manning. The way it operates here is that one person speaks at a time. No one interrupts anyone. If your attorney wants to call you as a witness, he will have you sworn in and then he can ask questions of you. All right, Mr. May.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, at this time, Your Honor, I would call Mr. Thomas Manning, please.
All right, Mr. Manning, can you raise your hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can lower your hand. Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thomas, how long have you been in jail?
I haven't been in jail approximately 6 months now. I'm think about 10 days short of 6 months.
Okay. And do you have any type of savings accounts?
No, sir, I do not. I do not have any savings accounts. I do have a young child that I need to get back to who is developmentally being withheld because of the COVID. She has a problem reading. She's almost 8 years old and cannot read. Her mother is a nurse and is working a lot due to the pandemic.
Okay. Let me stop you there, Mr. Manning. Okay, you have one child, is that correct?
Yes, I have one child under the age of 18.
Okay, and she does have some mental health problems that need to be taken care of, is that correct?
I would not call mental health, but I would say developmentally as far as her education due to her schooling being broken up constantly because of the pandemic.
Okay, no, my mistake. Now, Mr. Manning, do you have any type of property or land that you can sell or any to get any funds to make this bond?
No, sir. Currently, I do not own any property, any vehicles. I do not have any money in any bank accounts. It would be a struggle to come up with a bond at $75,000.
Now, Mr. Manning, what amount of bond do you think would be reasonable that you could afford?
Through borrowing from friends and family, I believe that 15 to 20,000 would be reasonable.
15 to 20,000, okay. And again, if the judge does decide to lower your bond, do you have any type of employment? Or once you're released, will you be able to get any type of employment?
I have had several offers from friends of mine who own several businesses. I will be on a monitor device, as I've been told before, for if I am bonded out. And I will try to find work that will go along with what times they allow me to be out on the monitor.
Okay. So you are asking this court to allow you to go to work, in other words, kind of like a partial house arrest? Is that a first
Yes,
statement?
yes, work would be the only reason that I would leave the house.
Okay. Well, I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
State,
Mr. Manning, have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health illnesses or conditions?
As the judge quoted earlier, I'm not sure I have to answer that because of HEPA, but yes, I have.
Okay, and what conditions?
Once again, due to HEPA, I do not have to release that in the court. I mean, if you have it, you would have it on file, correct?
Mr. Manning, have you been diagnosed as a bipolar schizophrenic before?
Bipolar, yes. Schizophrenic, no.
Are there any other mental health conditions that I've missed?
No, sir, and I am currently medicated for the bipolar.
Who are you medicated through?
Right now, I am medicated through Bexar County. I do have prescriptions awaiting me as I release from Bexar County.
Okay, and prior to being at the Bexar County Jail, were you taking medication?
I was off and on my medication. We had tried different ones. I'm not sure if you're aware, but as far as mental health, with a lot of the medications, it takes 30 days for them to become active in your system. And it's kind of a trial and error to see which ones work with your own chemical makeup.
Okay, pass the witness, Judge.
right, defense,
Nothing further, Your Honor. We would just ask this court to set a reasonable bond as he heard the evidence judge. Mr. Manning can afford anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000, and we would ask this court to set a bond within that range, Your Honor. Also with the conditions of a partial house arrest, subject just permission to go to work. Yeah, go back to and from work, Your Honor.
all right, state, any evidence or witnesses?
No witnesses, Judge. We do have evidence. State is offering State's Exhibit 1, which has been emailed to the judge, the court reporter, and defense.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, then state's exhibit number 1 is admitted into evidence. Everyone just give me a moment to review it. All right, the court has reviewed state's exhibit number 1. The court will hear argument. Defense,
Again, Your Honor, we would ask this court to set a reasonable amount of bond in the range of $15,000 to $20,000. I think there's been evidence to show that Mr. Manning can afford that type of bond. I think $75,000 is way excessive, Judge. And also, Judge, we would ask that if you set the bond, whenever he makes bond, that conditions of partial house arrest where he's under house arrest but is released to go to and from work. And pretty much that's about it, Your Honor.
all right, state,
Judge, as you can see in the State's Exhibit 1, the facts of the case are very concerning, and so we are strongly opposed to any reduction in his bond. It's alleged that he came from behind to one of the witnesses and tried to cut his throat. He ends up stabbing both of the alleged victims multiple times. And one of the witnesses, who was, I believe, a previous girlfriend, she stated that he had schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. And so it's concerning to think that he would be out, possibly get off of his medications, and something like this could happen again. I also spoke to defense about filing a motion to have him evaluated because I think that that's necessary for this case to proceed. So we are opposed to any reduction in his bond.
all right, defense, it's your motion, so I'll give you a final argument.
Judge, again, Judge, we would just ask the court to take into consideration the amount of bond that's that is right now, and the amount of bond that my client can afford, which is a $15,000 to $20,000. And I believe that, the, house arrest, partial house arrest and him, going to and from work. If, need, I can file a motion for some, psychiatric evaluation, Judge. And, but we would ask this court to go ahead and, reduce Mr. Manning's bond at this time, Judge.
All right, motion for reduction will be denied. The court will order full GPS if he's released, waive fees, and there should be no unsupervised contact with minors. Where are we on evidence being received on this case, Mr. May?
Judge, I believe I'll have the majority of the evidence. And as the state said, Your Honor, probably what I'm going to do is go ahead and file my motion for psychiatric evaluation and possibly insanity at the same time, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Manning, please? And are you going to file that motion? Or are you requesting the court to do a referral for evaluation?
Judge, look, if it's okay with the court, I would ask the court to go ahead and do the referral, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I'm going to need a referral for a psychological evaluation for Mr. Manning, please, and a 30-day reset. All right, we're going to come back on April 26th. All right, if there's nothing else, do you need to speak with Mr. Manning, Mr. May?
Yes, if you don't mind, Judge, I would like to visit.
All
with
right,
him.
if you'll make sure that he comes back to the main room, please.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 9.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Manning, I'll send you to number 9. All right, the state is proceeding on count 1, which is an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. This will be set for a PSI on September 29th. Defense, is there a need for TAP evaluation?
Yes, Your Honor. Be on the safe side, Your Honor.
All right, is there any mental health issues that need to be addressed through the CHOP evaluation?
Yes, Your Honor, please, there might be some mental health issues.
All right, because based upon reading this, I didn't see anything that indicated that. Mr. Manning,
Yes.
have you ever been diagnosed?
With more so emotional as opposed to mental. And by that, I mean, depression.
All right, we'll do a MIC evaluation. So probation, it'll be a TAP evaluation, a MIC evaluation. Of course, we'll need the PSI report. And that'll be while in custody. Defense, do you anticipate calling any witnesses?
Not at this point, Your Honor.
State.
Possibly the complaint, Your Honor, we can talk to you about that.
All right, so only one witness potentially?
We'll have one witness on.
All right, so we're gonna be back on September 29th at 9 a.m. Please have your witnesses here. And the court will make a decision on your application based upon the PSI report and any other evidence that's submitted to me. Do you understand?
Yeah, Your Honor, excuse me, my client was asking if you could set a PR bond for until sentencing.
No.
She's got a daughter that's he hasn't seen for a while. And she has,
That was part of the reason was so that I can move forward with my daughter's life is the reason I have taken the plea bargain.
No. Here's the thing. I show that you entered the plea freely and voluntarily. You informed the court that there was no other promises that were made to you.
No, there was not.
All right, so here's the thing. I'm looking at the docketing sheet, and we can go off the record, Brenna. And during your pretrial services time, you were admonished about GPS violations. So I did not issue a judge's warrant and have you placed in custody. Then you had a setting on June 6th, and you were a no-show.
Yeah.
So
If
that's.
I may talk real quick on that.
I mean, we are here where we are from your actions.
I understand.
If your attorney wants to file a motion, the court will reconsider it. I mean, we'll consider it. But what I can tell you is I'm not granting you a PR bond.
I understand.
Okay. All
I do
right.
understand. I just wanted to say the reason for me missing that date is that you can see I was the first on the scene and tried to revive a woman who was hit on the access road. I stopped traffic myself. You can contact Detective Coronado.
You'll have your attorney do that, okay? Because I don't do,
No,
and I'm not being flippant, but I don't do any of the investigation.
no, I understand that.
All right. All right, thank you.
And the date is set to win the 29th.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Jacqueline Santos,
For Mr. Manning, Your Honor.
and are you Mr. Manning?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, Mr. Manning, you entered a plea on August 16th to count one. You entered a plea of no contest, state waived count two. You applied for deferred adjudication according to the plea bargaining agreement, punishments to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is opposing your application, and they are taking into consideration a county court cause number. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, state,
No, Your Honor.
defense?
None, Your Honor.
State, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
None other than my client. Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Manning, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Thomas Anthony Manning.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thomas, are you asking this court to grant you a deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, and Thomas, you have had mental health problems in the past, is that correct?
Yes, bipolar.
Okay, you are bipolar at this time, and at the time of the incident, were you under the influence of any narcotics or alcohol?
No, sir, it was not malicious in any intent. It was a defensive.
And then in the report, it says that you had drank some.
I had a beer.
Okay, and when was the last time you had a beer prior to this, to the incident?
The last time before the incident.
Right.
I cannot recall.
Okay, so in other words, what I'm trying to get at is you don't really drink alcohol that much?
No, not after I had received my second DWI.
And are you sorry for what happened?
Yes, I am extremely regretful for everything that happened to my family, to their family, especially to everybody that was injured in the case. If I had a chance, I would do it something differently.
I'll pass a witness, Your Honor.
State.
Mr. Manning, just a few questions.
Yes, sir.
So I didn't hear exactly what you said whenever your defense counsel or when your counsel asked specifically about that night. Could you say it was defensive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's still in your opinion that this
Counsel.
was that the complainant's injuries were resulted from you defending yourself.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
You've also been previously placed on probation for one of the DWIs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was it one of the DWIs or both?
It was one. The first one I did time. I went ahead and I did a 30-day sentence. The second one, I when how do you say? I quit reporting and then I turned myself in.
So you were revoked on the DWI second, correct?
Yes, sir. Like I said, I went ahead and then I went in and then we bartered and I just did time served on that.
What was the cause of you not reporting?
My daughter was just born and my father was just going through becoming blind and I was helping take care of him. And it was a bad point in my life.
And would you agree with me that the situation that night was shocking?
Yes, sir. It is very shocking.
And you would also agree that there were pretty significant injuries sustained by the people?
As far as what I was told, I was not able to see them. I was still being, I don't know the word for it, wrestled by the other complainant when said complainant that we are discussing right now had moved away. I'd never pursued them afterwards. I stayed at the scene of the crime. I was fully cooperative with the police through the whole investigation.
No, I understand that, sir, but you did see the crime scene itself, correct?
Yes, sir, I did see the crime scene myself.
And there was
Yes,
an excessive.
there's a
amount of-
section, including my own, where I am there to show where I had a defensive wound, where I was there. The other man was trying to force the blade into my chest. You can see in the evidence in the shirt that I have slashes in the shirt.
Okay, but again, my question was concerning, there was an excessive amount of blood.
Yes, sir, there was an excessive amount of blood. From what I could see, yes, sir. I was in shock at that point as well.
Again, that's the blood. Would you agree that most of that's left is not your blood?
Yes, I would agree probably so. From what I've heard, his wrist was cut and that he was cut somewhere in the neck or facial area.
That's what I'm saying.
Any follow-up?
Nothing.
All right, Mr. Manning, the court's going to deny your application, find you guilty, sentence you to 6 years in prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money is to run concurrent.
So I'm going to prison, ma'am?
Taking
defending
consideration
myself.
County Court Cause number 659569. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Good luck to you, Mr. Manning.
I'm fine with me. I love you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Patricia Mandernack for the people, P 84088.
Good morning.
And good morning, Your Honor. May it please this most honorable court, Kim Michon, Neighborhood Defender Services, P 59167. And it's my pleasure to represent the defendant in the matter.
Good morning, Ms. Michon. Good morning, Mr. James. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. So we are here for sentencing.
So Judge, at the top of the page under offense, it says count 1 aggravated stalking attempt.
Yes.
It should just be aggravated stalking.
Okay.
And then the offense max, instead of being 2 years, 6 months, should be 5 years and or $10,000. Semicolon probation for any term of years, not less than 5.
The defense agrees.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Michon.
Your Honor, the defense did have the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report with my client. The corrections we have to make are a bit more substantive in that if the court reflects upon prior criminal adult history, 2 of 10, in essence, what Mr. James is saying is that he does not remember any of the convictions for trespass, which include one that is 2 of 10, which is a 1995 conviction for trespass. He disagrees that that's him. He does know that there's another person with his same name living in that same community. I don't know if that's where all of these are coming from. He's also going to object to
Wait.
3 of 10.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So, I see the one for 2 of 10. Okay, go ahead.
And
So-
then there's one that's 3 of 10. He also has no memory of that whatsoever.
Okay.
And then if you reflect down on 7 of 10, he also disagrees. He does not believe that is his conviction either. Mind you, they are quite a bit older and I don't think have any effect on the guidelines, but he would be objecting to those.
Okay.
All of the others, he agrees. And with that, Judge, there was an agreement with the people. We would ask that you adopt same. Mr. James is in treatment presently. His health, the court is well aware of, is deteriorating rapidly, quite frankly. He has not been able to see his doctors at U of M in quite some time for a scan. He is hoping that the court will remove the tether and allow him to continue in outpatient treatment and obviously get the help that he needs for his present cancer treatment.
Ms. Michon, are you saying that the tether has interfered with his treatment?
I think, Judge, if the court, he's hoping that the court will not require him to continue with Salvation Army. He is hoping that the court, as that was not part of the agreement, it was part of bond, however, that we placed him there for treatment. He is continuing in that treatment. He would like it to change to outpatient treatment. As he understands, he still has a ways to go, but he's hoping if the complaining witness will allow him to return home, and obviously I cannot speak for her, he would like to live out the rest of his days with his wife.
Okay, but I want to be clear about whether the tether is interfering with his treatment. Is it?
I know he gets scanned, is that correct, my friend?
Yeah, they scan my whole body for.
And in doing so, I would imagine that the tether would interfere with scanning equipment, but that is just my best guess, Judge.
Judge, I am not a doctor, obviously, but I do know from encountering this issue before that having a tether on can interfere, I believe it's specifically with MRI scans. Based on my conversations with complaining witness, I have no objection to removing the GPS tether.
All right, thank you. I am familiar with the hindrance that an MRI presents, but I asked Ms. Michon because I definitely want Mr. James to get whatever treatment he is medically advised to receive, and we'll remove the tether, certainly, especially because Mrs. James is not opposed. And I also read that Mrs. James would like for Mr. James to return. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, but again, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Judge, Miss James is here, and I believe she will cover that in her victim impact statement. And Judge, Miss James has requested that her victim advocate, Brittany Terrell, step up with her when she makes her statement. Is that okay?
Certainly.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, counsel, thank you for this time.
Just one moment, just one moment. Take a deep breath.
I've been trying all morning, I'm sorry.
State your name for the record.
My name is Sheila Lynn James.
Go ahead, what would you like me to know, Ms. James?
Well, as I just told you my name, thank you for giving me this time to speak with you today. I really didn't know what I was going to say, but then I started thinking, 25 years, literally half of my life. And there's been good times, but to be honest, there's been very few and far between. Because the battle always came first. But what it comes down to is I love him. I do love him, or believe me, if you knew me, I wouldn't have stayed. I tried to save him. That's where I went wrong. I had it in my head, if I could just say the right thing, he'd finally get it. He'll finally understand he needs to quit. And he did for 14 years. 14 years he was sober. And then one day he walked in the house and I just looked in his eyes and knew and went, really? And he was like, what? Well, you know what? There it was. It was all over again. I'm going to tell you, once you see the look in the eyes one time, you always know it the next time you see it. He doesn't have to say a word. I just have to look in his eyes. I did everything I could, but I finally realized what it comes down to is he's gonna want to save himself. Didn't matter how much or how bad I wanted it, he needed to want it. It's not gonna happen if he didn't want it. Well, unfortunately now, because of all the drinking, he has cancer, stage 4. But don't worry, we'll fix it. It's what the doctor said, you know, put him through chemo, put him through radiation. It was all good for 3 months till we went back and they said, oh, sorry, Mr. James, it's back. But he said he couldn't do chemo and radiation again. I mean, honestly, come on, let's be real. It's stage 4, throat and lung. He only has 1.5 lungs and we just learned it's fed to his thyroid. Did they seriously think that they weren't going to get him to go through that? Well, now at this point, he don't want to go through it again. And I don't blame him. And his liver is fried. I've seen it on the scan with my own eyes. And his kidneys are shutting down. He walks around daily bleeding out of places where people shouldn't. I speak to staff and things get back to me, so I know. He's gonna have 5 years hanging over his head. I honestly don't expect him to make it a year. Honestly, 6 months. It's taken me a long time to accept this because he is a very good man and a very hardworking man. A man who would do anything for you. And I'm not kidding. Even when I've begged him not to, he's like, nope, gotta go help him. Be right back. 5 hours later, here he comes, you know? I've had like, I don't know, 5 months by myself alone. And honestly, at first I was scared. Every noise I heard, I wanted to shoot it. But didn't. But as time went on, I noticed something. I found myself. And I have been gone for a very, very long time. About 20 years. I realized I don't need a man in my life. I can take care of things, the house, the bills, everything I need to do one way or another, it gets done. I started slowly noticing that even though I do love him, I was thinking more about what I had to do and not what he was doing. I finally found me again. I have been, for a very long time, upset because all I do is worry, wondering what he's doing, where he was. Okay, my God, is he drinking? What's he doing? Is he coming home wasted? Are we gonna fight? I stopped all that. I don't do that anymore. Honestly, I stopped caring, to be quite frankly with you. He's his own person and I'm me. And I promise, I mean that any wildcat you want to tangle with, they got nothing on me. He knows. With that said, as I mentioned earlier, he now has 5 years hanging over his head, and this sitting right over there, he knows if I even just see the look in his eye, I will call and violate him. That's not even a question. What I want with the time he has left is memories. Ones that I want to remember. Ones that mean something to me. Ones that are not yelling and screaming and fighting and breaking things. I'm over it. I'm 50 years old. But I just can't do this anymore. I've already had 1 heart attack this year. I will not let anyone, including him, or anything else cause me to have another. I see myself in a different way. And I just cannot and will not watch him drink himself to the grave faster than what God wants to put him there. And the family, they're in this courtroom. They're behind me 100%. I've thought long and hard about this, believe me. It gives me headaches thinking about it. But with the way his physical health is, and where he's bleeding, where people aren't meant to be bleeding from, he's been off drugs and alcohol now almost 6 months. I've decided I don't care if he comes home. With the tail hanging over his head, I'm not expecting any trouble from him. Because as I said, he knows in a heartbeat, I will call. That's not even a question. However, he does need to put in his head right now. In the half a year he's been gone, I've made changes in the home. Changes I'm comfortable with, and he's just going to have to deal with it because I do. And I have the control, and that's what matters. And when it comes down to him and my brother, they're just going to have to find a way to let bygones be bygones and get along. Because that's my brother and he's my husband. What he did to me, I own it. I know he owns it. I can forgive, but I won't forget. And I swear on my daddy's grave, and that's a sacred swear to me for anyone who knows me. I'll break his fingers, call for EMS, and then the police after. So he can come home when you allow him. And I'm sorry, this is all I could come up with. And I'm sorry if I wasted the court's time, but thank you for letting me speak with you.
Well, James, it's not only your right to speak, but it's my honor to allow you to speak.
Thank you for that.
You don't have to thank me. You're entitled. You've earned it.
Thank
You
you.
deserve it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day.
Ms. Michon, any allocution on behalf of Mr. James?
Other than to say, and forgive the language, that is one heck of a lady. What an extraordinary woman that this man has. Both the grace she has shown, the strength she has shown, and the fact that she advocated for herself. That's extraordinary. And it was a privilege to see. And I hope he deserves it. And I hope he heard her and will not be back before the court and disappoint that amazing woman again. Thank you.
I don't want to go through this again. I'm so tired of being locked up and doing things and cleaning up after people that are just ridiculously not there. You know what I'm saying? I do janitorial in the center, and instead of in the toilet, it's on it, around it, and back of it, and you know what I mean? And I'm bending over, cleaning, sweeping, mopping. It's hurting my back. My kidneys are already putting pressure on them, and you know, I need to. I wouldn't mind working, but I need something to where I can stand fine. It's bending over, picking up paper and 5 acres of land. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I don't like to sit. I'm quite active, but I can't work. She needs some help with things, the car, everything else. So yeah, I will be doing quite well. I can do this.
I believe you. You know, Mr. James, the last time that we were together, I told you, and I believe this as well, that no one knows how long you have. I'm a person of faith, so I happen to believe that that is in God's hands. You may not be, but scientifically, we know that nobody knows. And I'm hopeful that however much time you have left, you'll do exactly what your wife has requested, that you will create memories that when you're gone, she and the rest of your family can enjoy. You've had a very rough go. And, you know, we talked a little bit the last time about how alcoholism is a disease, and it's insidious because it's accepted by society. And it seems to be elevated above all other drugs that people take and use and misuse. So it's easy to do, and it's easy to get caught up in it. And everyone who drinks doesn't have the susceptibility that you do. You have a disease along with the cancer and along with your mental health issues that I suspect you were self-treating for many, many years. I've said all of that to say there's not a lot more that I can say than what your wife has already said, so I'm not going to belabor the point. But I believe that you can spend the rest of your days sober, productive, and happy if you put your mind to it, if you continue to put your mind to it. And I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for your entire family.
Yeah, I gotta make amends to a lot of people. I've let go and let God took it, and I pray every day. So.
And as far as those toilets are concerned, I think, Mr. James, perhaps this isn't the reason that the Salvation Army requires it of its residents, but I think that it's humbling. I think that that kind of activity can help us become better and help us give consideration to others more than ourselves. And you can take those lessons when you go back home to your wife who's waiting for you to be the husband with whom she fell in love and has spent all of these many years with, right? It's going to be the sentence of the court to adopt the sentence agreement, which is for 5 years of probation. And we did agree to batterers intervention.
Yes, I've got it set up, but I wasn't able to attend. I was required to have a day off because it couldn't interfere with my classes or my work. And I didn't have any days off until the court date. I had
Well-
to change my day off to work Monday and come here. on
Well,
Tuesday, so.
your agent is going to work around your schedule. And we do expect you to participate in it and to complete it. But I want you to know that what I want to see for you, what I think is the biggest priority, is for you to go home and make those memories with your wife and the rest of your family. I hope you understand what I'm saying, Mr.
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Thank you for allowing me to see my wife and my dogs.
Mr. James, you're going to have 42 days from today's date if you disagree with the sentence, the conviction, or both. And I didn't do the costs and fees. So let me back up a moment. There's $130. You don't have to write this down. We'll have an order. There's $130 crime victims assessment. There's a $68 felony charge. Both of those, state felony charge, both of those are costs and fees that I have no discretion to modify. But the court costs of $1,300, I will waive. And I will also waive the $400 attorney's fee, because although I'm certain that you will agree that the representation that Ms. Mershon has given to you is worth far more than $400, that $400 doesn't go directly to the attorney. It goes to a fund to help provide other indigent defendants with counsel. And I'm going to make this non-reporting probation. So you won't have to check in with a probation agent every, however often it is. I think it's once monthly. Because I'm confident that your wife, who has found her voice and reacquainted herself with herself, will let me know if there's anything that I need to know.
She didn't want to put me.
So you know that she will let me know. And I'm counting on her doing that, but I don't think she'll need to. Now, you have 42 days from today's date to ask the Court of Appeals to review your conviction, your sentence, or both. And if you need the assistance of an attorney to do that, but you can't afford one, you need to let this court know within that 42 days, and I'll appoint an attorney to you for that purpose. Okay. Do you have any questions?
I'm happy with that, but yeah, how long do I have to pay?
I didn't hear you.
How long do I have to pay the other two fines?
Well, when you get it. Don't go in the poorhouse over it though.
Yeah.
Pay it as you can.
I got a guy that does landscaping and he'll let me do odd things, jobs to help out, and so I can make a few bucks to help her and save up for my fines, so.
Well, she talked about your generosity. And so I'm not surprised that that's what you want to do.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're off the record. I wish you well, Mr. James, you and your family.